Your child looks straight at you. You say, "Put your shoes on." Nothing happens. You repeat it. Still nothing. Your voice gets firmer. Still nothing. And now your mind starts racing. Are they ignoring me? Are they testing me? Are they being disrespectful? Or worse, am I losing control? Here's what most parents never realize. In that exact moment, your child's brain may not be refusing you. It may be offline, and if that's true, then everything we've been told about getting kids to listen might be backwards. Today, I'm going to show you what's actually happening in your child's brain. Why traditional discipline often makes listening worse. And 5 science-backed steps that turn resistance into cooperation. And step 3 is the one most parents skip, even though it changes everything. Let's start with the biggest misunderstanding. The misunderstanding. Most parents believe listening is a behavior choice. They heard me. They understand. They're choosing not to respond. So we escalate. We repeat ourselves. We threaten consequences. We remove privileges. We raise our voice, but neuroscience tells a different story. When a child is overwhelmed, tired, overstimulated, hungry, or emotionally flooded, the prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for reasoning, impulse control, and following instructions, temporarily shuts down. Not permanently, not dramatically, temporarily. This is not manipulation. It is nervous system biology. Imagine trying to solve a puzzle while your body thinks it's in danger. Your heart is racing. Your muscles are tense. Your brain is scanning for threat. Logic won't land. Now, here's the part that may surprise you. When we raise our voice, the brain doesn't hear instruction. It hears threat. The amygdala, the brain's alarm system, activates. Stress hormones rise, and access to reasoning drops. The louder we get, the less they can comply. Let that sink in. Pattern interrupt. What if your child isn't defiant? What if they're dysregulated? That single shift changes everything, and it leads to the principle most parenting advice misses. The basic principle. Before cooperation comes regulation. Say that again in your mind. Before cooperation comes regulation. A regulated child can listen. A dysregulated child cannot. Connection is not a reward for good behavior. It is the condition that makes good behavior possible. The nervous system always chooses safety over obedience. Always. If your child feels rushed, criticized, shamed, or disconnected, their body shifts into protection mode. And in protection mode, instructions sound like noise. So the real question isn't, how do I make my child listen? It's, how do I help their brain feel safe enough to listen? And this matters more than you think. Because we are not just solving today's shoe problem. We are wiring the brain for future self-discipline. Let me show you how. 5 practical steps. Step 1. Connect before you direct. Here's where most parents rush. We give instructions from across the room, while scrolling, while cooking, while stressed. But attention follows connection. Before giving an instruction, pause, walk over, lower your body, use their name, gentle touch if appropriate, soft eye contact. This signals safety. It shifts the brain from self-directed mode to relational mode. Instead of, I said, put your shoes on. Try, hey, it's time for shoes. It feels small, but neurologically, it's massive. Open loop reminder. And wait until you hear what happens when we combine this with step 3. That's when resistance really drops. Step 2. Use fewer words. When children are overwhelmed, their processing capacity shrinks. Long explanations increase cognitive load. Instead of, "We're late. I've asked you 3 times. Why aren't your shoes on yet?" Try, "Shoes on. I'll help." Short, clear, calm. Under stress, clarity beats lectures. Your tone matters more than your volume. Your presence matters more than your power. Step 3. Regulate first, then redirect. This is the step most parents skip. If your child is visibly upset, pause the instruction. Name the feeling. "You're frustrated. You wanted more time." That's hard. Research shows that labeling emotions reduces amygdala activation. It literally calms the alarm system. Then wait. Watch for slower breathing, relaxed shoulders, eye contact returning. Then give the instruction again. Regulation opens the door. Reasoning walks through it. Now imagine combining this with step 1, connection. Then emotional acknowledgement. Then direction. That sequence changes the entire tone of the interaction. Mini case. Example: your child throws a block when told to clean up. Old pattern: "Don't throw. Clean up right now." New pattern: "You're mad. You wanted more time." Pause. Blocks go in the box. Same boundary. Different nervous system state. Different result. Step 4. Turn it into collaboration. Resistance drops when autonomy rises. Instead of commanding, offer structured choices. Blue shoes or red? Hop to the car or walk? You are not negotiating the boundary. You are giving agency within it. Autonomy activates the prefrontal cortex, the very part we need online for cooperation. Power struggles decrease when children feel involved. Step 5. Slow down the moment. Most listening struggles happen during transitions. The brain dislikes abrupt change, so prepare it. In 5 minutes, we're leaving. 2 more bites, then we clean up. 1 more turn. Predictability reduces stress. A prepared brain cooperates better than a surprised brain. Common fear. At this point, some parents worry. If I do all this, won't my child think they're in charge? Actually, no. Children don't need control. They need safety. When they feel safe, they stop fighting for power. When they feel threatened, they defend it. Connection does not remove authority. It strengthens it. Because leadership without fear builds trust. The deeper truth. Listening isn't obedience. It's neurological readiness. Fear can produce short-term compliance, but trust builds long-term discipline. When a child obeys out of fear, their brain is in survival mode. When a child listens out of trust, their brain is in learning mode. And learning mode builds emotional regulation, impulse control, internal motivation, resilience. We are not raising children who respond to volume. We are raising brains that respond to safety. And safety creates cooperation. Your child is screaming, crying, kicking, maybe even hitting. And in that moment, your heart is racing and you're thinking, is this a tantrum or something else? Because how you respond in the next 30 seconds can either calm the storm or make it last twice as long. If you treat a meltdown like a tantrum, you accidentally escalate it. If you treat a tantrum like a meltdown, you might accidentally teach that big emotions get you what you want. They look the same. They sound the same. But inside the brain, they are 2 completely different events. And once you understand the difference, everything changes. Your confidence, your calmness, and your child's ability to recover. Let's break it down together. The big confusion. Most of us use the word tantrum for any emotional explosion, but there are actually 2 very different processes happening in your child's brain. One is goal-driven. They still have some control and strategy. The other is overload-driven. The nervous system has completely flooded, and reasoning is offline. The response each one needs is almost the opposite. So how do you tell which is which in the heat of the moment? Let me show you. What a tantrum really is a tantrum is a protest. It happens when a child wants something and doesn't get it. More screen time, that cookie, to stay at the park, to win the game. Here's the key feature. There is still awareness. You will often notice they glance at you to see if you're watching. The volume goes up when you react. It can stop suddenly if they get what they want. Or it pauses the second something more interesting appears. Picture this. Your 4-year-old is melting down in the grocery store because you won't buy the sugary cereal. Every few seconds, they peek through their fingers to check if you're about to cave. That peek? That's the prefrontal cortex still partially online. This is frustration mixed with strategy. Research backs this up. A 2012 study in the journal Emotion by Wachschlag and colleagues showed that typical tantrums follow a clear emotional arc. Anger peaks early, then distress. And most resolve within minutes when parents stay consistent and calm. So tantrums are dysregulated behavior, but not total neurological shutdown. That means you can and should hold calm, clear limits. What a meltdown really is a meltdown is not a protest. It's a nervous system collapse. It happens when the brain has simply taken in too much noise, too many transitions, too little sleep, too much sensory input, or built-up stress. The system overloads, and reasoning goes completely offline. This is what neuroscientists call an amygdala hijack, a term popularized by Daniel Goleman. Think of it as your child's alarm system completely taking over. Brain imaging work by Dr. Matthew Lieberman at UCLA in 2007 showed that during intense emotion, the regulatory parts of the brain literally quiet down unless a calm, safe adult helps bring them back online. In a meltdown, your child is not negotiating with you. They are neurologically flooded. You'll notice, no checking to see if you're watching. Nothing you offer stops it. Their body looks truly out of control. They seem unreachable. This is not manipulation. This is overload. And overload cannot be disciplined away. Pattern interrupt. So here's the game-changing shift. Tantrum needs a calm boundary. Meltdown needs co-regulation. Get them backwards, and you accidentally make both worse. And here's something even more important. In the moment, your brain can also get hijacked. When your child screams, your nervous system reads it as threat. Your heart rate rises, your tone sharpens, your body prepares to fight back. If you don't regulate yourself first, you'll respond to their overload with your own. Two dysregulated nervous systems cannot calm each other. But one regulated nervous system can calm two. So before you diagnose tantrum or meltdown, take one slow breath. That single pause is often the difference between escalation and leadership. How to respond to a tantrum. Stay calm, stay steady, stay consistent. Validate the feeling without changing the limit. I know you're really upset we're leaving the park. We're still leaving. No long lectures, no threats, no bribes in the heat of it. After the storm passes, you can debrief in 20 seconds. Next time you're upset, use your words, and I'll listen. Be the calm wall the wave crashes against, predictable, neutral, unmoved. The storm always passes faster when it doesn't get extra fuel. How to respond to a meltdown. This is where everything flips. Logic is useless. Consequences are useless. Sometimes even words feel like too much. Your only job is co-regulation. Drop your voice. Drop your body to their level. Reduce lights, noise, everything. Fewer words, slower movements. The most powerful thing you can say is often just, "I'm right here. you're safe. That's it. Decades of attachment and neuroscience research, including work by Alan Shore, show that children borrow our calm nervous system. Your regulated breathing and steady tone become their template for recovery. But only if you stop trying to control the behavior and start calming the system. The subtle sign most parents miss. There's one beautiful moment that tells you the meltdown is ending. Watch for breathing slows. Eyes start to focus again. Muscles in the face and shoulders soften. That's the prefrontal cortex coming back online. That's your cue, not to lecture or punish, but to reconnect with a gentle hug or, "I've got you." Common mistake. Here's the trap I see all the time. A 6-year-old has been at school all day, skipped his nap, and the second he gets home, he loses it over the wrong color cup. He gets sent to his room to calm down and think about his behavior. 10 minutes later, he's still inconsolable. And now he feels alone on top of overwhelmed. That wasn't a tantrum. That was a full nervous system collapse. And it needed presence, not absence. Flip it. Meltdown means regulate first, talk later. Tantrum means validate and hold the boundary. Simple rule. Not always easy in the moment, but it changes everything. The long-term impact. Why does this even matter? Because every single response is wiring your child's brain. Repeated threat during meltdowns makes the stress system more reactive. Repeated co-regulation teaches the brain, big feelings are safe and they end. We're not trying to have emotion-free kids. We're trying to raise kids who feel the big feelings and recover faster. That skill, emotional recovery, predicts resilience, stronger relationships, and long-term emotional health. The deeper truth. A tantrum whispers, "I want power." A meltdown screams, "I've lost control." One needs calm leadership, the other needs safety. When you learn to read the difference, you stop taking it personally. You stop escalating. You start responding from wisdom instead of fear. And that single shift transforms the emotional climate of your entire home. So the next time the storm hits, pause for just 2 seconds and ask yourself, is this a protest or is this overload, boundary or regulation? Because the right response always starts with the right diagnosis. When we understand the brain, parenting stops feeling like a battlefield and starts feeling like teamwork. If you haven't yet watched the first video in this series, Why Kids Don't Listen and What's Really Happening in Their Brain, go watch that one next. It explains what sets these explosions up in the first place. In the next video, we're going even deeper. I'll show you exactly what happens inside the brain during these moments, and the one technique that brings kids back faster. Subscribe and turn on notifications, because every week we're making parenting calmer, clearer, and more connected. Your child is lucky to have a parent who's willing to learn.
It's 7:43 in the morning. You need to leave in 12 minutes. Your child was fine, laughing even, 60 seconds ago. And now, they're on the floor, screaming, because one sock has a seam that doesn't feel right. You take a breath. You offer a different sock. You stay calm. And then, they throw it. So you try logic. We don't have time for this. You try choices. Do you want the blue ones or the striped ones? You try consequences. If we're late, there's no screen time tonight. And nothing works. Sound familiar? Here's what most parents don't realize in that moment. Your child is not choosing to be difficult. Their brain has gone offline. And the strategies you're reaching for, logic, choices, consequences, are actually designed for a brain that's working properly, not for a brain in crisis. Today, we're going to change that. If you're new here, welcome. This is video 3 in our brain-based parenting series, and it builds directly on what we covered before. In video 1, Why Your Child Isn't Listening, we explored what's happening inside the developing brain and why children genuinely can't respond to instructions the way adults expect them to. Not won't, can't. In video 2, Tantrum versus Meltdown, we looked at how to read what kind of emotional moment you're actually in, because a tantrum and a meltdown are not the same thing. They have different causes, different brain signatures, and they need completely different responses. If you haven't seen those yet, I'll link them below. They'll make everything in this video land even deeper. But today, video 3, we go one level further. We're going to look at what's happening inside the emotional brain, why traditional parenting strategies fail in those moments, and, most importantly, exactly what to do instead. By the end of this video, you'll have 4 concrete strategies you can start using today. Let's get into it. The emotional brain. Amygdala versus prefrontal cortex. Here's what nobody tells you in parenting books. In the middle of a meltdown, your child is not being defiant. Their brain has literally changed state. Let me show you what I mean. The brain has 2 key regions we need to understand. The first is the amygdala. Think of it as the brain's smoke detector. It's always scanning for danger, threat, or overwhelm. And when it picks up a signal, even something as small as a scratchy sock, it fires, hard and fast. The second region is the prefrontal cortex, the brain's command center. This is where reasoning lives, planning, impulse control, the ability to hear your voice and respond to it. Now here's the critical part. When the amygdala fires strongly enough, it essentially takes the prefrontal cortex offline. Not metaphorically offline, neurologically offline. A 2020 study published in Frontiers in Psychology found that during emotional arousal, children's ability to shift attention and inhibit impulsive responses was significantly reduced, even in school-aged kids. Think about what that means in practice. You're standing there asking your child to put on their shoes. Their amygdala is flooded. Their prefrontal cortex, the part that processes your words, considers the consequences, and chooses a response, is temporarily not available. It's like calling someone's phone while it's switched off. The signal doesn't get through, not because they're ignoring you, because there's no one home to answer. This is why I keep saying, the brain in stress is wired for survival, not cooperation. Asking a dysregulated child to listen to logic is like asking someone mid-panic attack to solve a puzzle. It's not stubbornness, it's neuroscience. The myth of choice, when autonomy isn't enough. Now, you've probably come across advice that says, give your child choices. And it's good advice, in the right context. Autonomy matters. Children need agency. That's real. But here's what the well-meaning parenting books often skip. Choices only work when the prefrontal cortex is online. Remember, the prefrontal cortex is the part of the brain that weighs options, considers outcomes, and makes decisions. When a child is emotionally flooded, that part isn't functioning. So, offering choices in the middle of a meltdown doesn't empower your child. It overwhelms them. Think about it from their perspective. Their nervous system is screaming danger. Their body is in survival mode, and you're handing them a menu. It's actually one of the most common unintentional escalation traps. A parent doing everything right and making things worse. The blue sock or the striped sock? To a regulated brain, a simple decision. To a flooded brain, one more thing to process when processing is impossible. So what do we do instead? We focus on co-regulation first. And once regulation is restored, then choices become powerful again. Co-regulation, the missing puzzle piece. Co-regulation is a term you may have heard before, but let's make it concrete. Co-regulation is the process by which your nervous system helps calm your child's nervous system through your presence, your body, your tone, your calm. Here's the science behind why it works. Research published in Developmental Cognitive Neuroscience shows that supportive touch and attuned parental presence can actually reduce physiological markers of stress in children. In other words, your body is medicine. When you walk into a tense situation and stay physically calm, slow breath, soft voice, open posture, Your child's nervous system detects that, and it begins to mirror it. This is called co-regulation through co-presence. It's not magic, it's biology. And I want to say something clearly here because I know how this can sound. This is not permissive parenting. Co-regulation is not the same as giving in. It's not ignoring the behavior. It's not saying anything goes. It's understanding that structure and boundaries can only land on a brain that's capable of receiving them. You're not backing down, you're being strategic. You're calming the brain so that your guidance can actually reach it. Strategy 1. Notice internal states. All right, let's get practical. The first strategy is awareness before action. Most parenting responses happen in reaction to behavior. We see the screaming, we respond to the screaming. But by the time behavior escalates into screaming, the window for easy intervention has already passed. The better move is to catch the shift earlier, and your child's body will always tell you before the explosion happens. Watch for these early warning signals: heavy or irregular breathing, tense muscles, clenched jaw or fists, sudden quiet, especially after a stimulating moment, clinging behavior or sudden withdrawal, quick emotional swings, laughing one second, snapping the next. These aren't misbehavior, these are neurological warning signs, your child's body signaling that their system is getting close to the edge. When you notice them, name what you see. Not to lecture, not to fix, just to reflect. Hey, I notice your body looks really tense right now. That looked really frustrating. You seem like something's bothering you. Why does naming work? Because it does something remarkable inside the brain. Research in emotional regulation, including work by neuroscientist Matthew Lieberman, shows that labeling an emotional state actually reduces amygdala activity. The act of putting language to a feeling moves some of that emotional energy into the prefrontal cortex. It's literally creating a neurological shift with words. Not solving, not explaining, just naming. That's where to start. Strategy 2. Physical calm first. Strategy 2 is about the body, because words alone won't reach a flooded brain. Before you try to talk your child through anything, the nervous system needs a physical off-ramp. Here are 3 techniques that are backed by research and practical enough to use in real time. The first is slow exhale breathing. Ask your child to breathe out longer than they breathe in. Inhale for 3 counts, exhale for 5 or 6. This isn't just relaxing, it's physiological. A longer exhale activates the parasympathetic nervous system, the body's natural all-clear signal. It tells the brain, the danger has passed. You can model it yourself first. Breathe visibly, slowly, in front of them. Children's bodies often sync without being asked. The second technique is grounding touch. A gentle, steady hand on the back, shoulder, or arm. Not grabbing, not holding them still, just a calm, present touch. The research we referenced from developmental cognitive neuroscience specifically identified supportive physical contact as a driver of stress reduction in children. That hand communicates what your words might not reach yet. You're safe. I'm here. I'm not going anywhere. The third technique is shared movement. This one surprises parents, but it works. Taking 30 to 60 seconds to walk together, even just down the hallway and back, has been shown to reduce cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone. Movement gives the nervous system somewhere to send that activated, flooded energy, and side-by-side movement, not face-to-face confrontation, reduces the feeling of threat between you and your child. These aren't tricks, they are biological levers. Use them before you say a single word of guidance. Strategy 3. Simple language. Strategy 3. When you do speak, less is more. When the prefrontal cortex is offline, long sentences, explanations, and multi-step instructions do not compute. The brain, in stress, processes language differently. It can handle short, it struggles with complex. So, strip it right down. Instead of, "I need you to calm down, get your shoes on and come downstairs. We've talked about this before and I need you to cooperate right now." Try. "Breathe with me. Let's sit here. I'm right here." One word. How are you feeling? Short, steady, specific. This isn't about dumbing things down. It's about meeting the brain exactly where it is. One phrase, repeated calmly if needed, does more in that moment than a paragraph of reasoning ever could. And here's a bonus insight. Your tone matters more than your words. Research consistently shows that children, especially young children, respond first to the emotional tone of your voice before the meaning of your words registers. Slow, low, steady. That's the voice that reaches a flooded brain. Strategy 4. Connect, then guide. And now, the final piece. Once the body has calmed, once the nervous system has begun to come down from survival mode, now you can introduce structure. But the sequence matters enormously. Connection first, instruction second. Not because boundaries don't matter, they absolutely do. But because structure delivered to a dysregulated brain bounces off. It doesn't land, it escalates. The moment you feel the shift, softer body, slower breath, eye contact returning, that is your window. Move into it gently, not with a lecture about what went wrong, not with a consequence delivered at high volume, with connection. A hand on the shoulder. That was really hard, huh? I'm glad you're okay. I love you even when things get hard. And then, from that place of reconnection, you guide. Okay, let's figure out the socks together. This sequence, calm, connect, then guide, is not the path of least resistance. It's the path of greatest effectiveness. You're not skipping the boundary, you're timing it right. Putting it all together. Let me walk you through what this actually looks like in a real moment. It's the morning, the sock situation. Your child is on the floor, flooded, escalating. Step 1. Pause. Don't match their energy. Don't rush toward them urgently. Take one slow breath. Drop your shoulders. That physical shift in you, they will feel it. Step 2. Notice and name. Get low. Physically lower yourself to their level. Hey, I can see this feels really big right now. That's it. Not fixing, just witnessing. Step 3. Body first. If they'll allow it, a gentle hand on their back. Breathe visibly and slowly in front of them. Let's breathe. Like this. Out. Slowly. Step 4. Simple language only. I'm here. You're okay. I'm not going anywhere. Repeat if needed. Calm and steady. Step 5. Watch for the shift. This is what we called the return signal in video 2. Slower breathing, eyes finding yours, body softening even just slightly. When you see it, connect. That was really hard. Then, and only then, guide. Let's try the other socks. I'll help. The whole thing? 2 to 4 minutes. Not the 20-minute standoff that derails the morning. This works, not because it's magic, because it's matched to how the brain actually functions. Let's bring it all together. Here's what we covered today. First, emotional overwhelm is a neurological state, not a behavior choice. The amygdala fires. The prefrontal cortex goes offline. Your child isn't choosing to be difficult. Their brain has shifted into survival mode. Second, traditional strategies fail because they target the wrong brain state. Logic, choices, and consequences require a functioning prefrontal cortex. In the middle of a meltdown, that part isn't available. Third, co-regulation works because it meets the brain where it is. Your calm is not weakness. Your calm is the intervention. And fourth, the 4 strategies in sequence. 1. Notice internal states early and name them. 2. Calm the body before you try to reach the mind. 3. Use simple, short, steady language. 4. Connect first, then guide. The shortcut version for your next hard moment. Pause. Name, body, connect, guide. Not louder, not harder, smarter. Because your goal isn't obedience. Your goal is to bring your child's brain back online so that connection, cooperation, and clarity become possible again. Now, I want to give you a preview of what's coming next. In video 4, Inside your child's brain during a meltdown, we're going to go even deeper. We'll use a simple hand model, the upstairs-downstairs brain, that makes the neuroscience instantly visual. Even young children can understand it. And we'll walk through one specific science-backed technique supported by UCLA brain imaging research that can bring a child back from full meltdown in under 90 seconds. That video is already up. I'll link it on screen right now. If today's video gave you something useful, save it. You'll want to come back to it. Share it with a parent who's in the thick of it right now. And if you're not subscribed yet, this channel puts out brain-based parenting content every week, designed to make your home calmer, clearer, and more connected. Your child is lucky to have a parent who's willing to understand how their brain works. That curiosity, right there, is what changes everything. I'll see you in video 4.
Your child is on the floor, screaming, kicking, face red, body rigid. And in that moment, your own heart is racing and you're thinking, what do I do right now? Because the next 60 seconds can either shorten the storm or turn it into an hour-long battle. You've already learned why kids don't listen and how to tell a tantrum from a true meltdown. Now we're going one layer deeper, inside the brain itself. Today, I'm showing you exactly what's happening when your child flips their lid. Why logic and consequences make it worse in that moment. And the one science-backed technique that helps the thinking brain come back online faster than anything else. And the beautiful part? Once you understand this model, you'll stop taking meltdowns personally and start feeling like the calm leader your child needs. Let's look inside the brain together. The big misunderstanding. Most of us see a meltdown and think our child is choosing to be bad, dramatic, or manipulative. But neuroscience says something completely different. To see it clearly, do this with me right now. Make a fist. That's the downstairs brain, the ancient part that controls breathing, heart rate, big emotions, and survival. It's fast, automatic, and always scanning for safety. Now, change your fist, with your thumb tucked inside your other fingers. You fold your fingers over the thumb. Your thumb is covered, protected. Those fingers are the upstairs brain, the newer part right behind your forehead. It handles thinking, planning, empathy, impulse control, and problem-solving. When your child is calm and connected, the lid is down, upstairs and downstairs, working as a team. But during a meltdown, the fingers shoot straight up. The lid flips. The upstairs brain goes completely offline. Dr. Dan Siegel calls this flipping your lid. Your child is no longer in the thinking brain. They're in pure, downstairs survival mode. Let that sink in. Pattern, interrupt. This is not defiance. This is not manipulation. This is biology. The downstairs brain has hijacked the system because it feels unsafe or overwhelmed. And when the upstairs brain is offline, no amount of use your words, calm down, or you're getting a timeout can reach them. The nervous system always chooses safety over listening. Always. The basic principle. You cannot teach or reason with a flipped lid. You have to help the lid come back down first. And that's where the game-changing technique lives. The one technique. Name it to tame it, plus CO regulation. Brain imaging from UCLA researcher Dr. Matthew Lieberman shows something remarkable. Simply naming the emotion out loud reduces activity in the amygdala and lights up the prefrontal cortex. It literally helps the lid start to lower. When you pair that with your calm presence, the effect is even stronger. Here are the exact 5 steps that work in under 60 to 90 seconds for most young children. Step 1. Regulate yourself. First, take one slow breath. Drop your shoulders. Remember, two dysregulated nervous systems cannot help each other. Your calm is the anchor. Step 2. Get low, close, and safe. Kneel or sit at their level. Soften your voice. Dim the lights. Or move to a quieter spot if you can. Fewer words, slower movements. Step 3. Name the feeling. Name it to tame it. You are so angry right now. This feels really overwhelming. This is a big disappointment. Be specific. Short. Warm. Watch what happens in their body. Science shows the amygdala starts to quiet within seconds. Step 4. Validate and connect. I see how hard this is for you. I'm right here. You're safe. You don't have to go through this alone. No fixing. No explaining. Just presence and safety. Step 5. Watch for the shift, then gently reconnect. Look for slower breathing, softer shoulders, eyes that can focus again. That's the upstairs brain, coming back online. Now, offer a hug, if they want one, or simply, "We've got this together." Only after the lid is down do you redirect or problem solve. Mini case example. Your 3-year-old loses it because the blue cup is in the dishwasher. Old way. It's just a cup. Stop crying or you're going to your room. New way. You are so mad about the blue cup. This feels like a huge deal. I'm right here. You're safe. Pause. Breathing with them. Shoulders drop. Eyes meet yours. Then, when you're ready, we can find another cup together. Same boundary. Completely different nervous system outcome. Common mistake. The trap I see all the time? Jumping straight to. Use your words or consequences while the lid is still flipped. It feels like you're helping, but you're actually keeping the upstairs brain offline longer. Regulate first, always. The long-term impact. Every single time you help the lid come back down, you are literally strengthening the neural staircase between the downstairs and upstairs brain. You are teaching your child's brain. Big feelings are safe. They have an end, and I have a grown-up who helps me through them. That wiring becomes self-regulation later. Resilience, emotional intelligence, better relationships. You're not just surviving today's meltdown. You're building the brain your child will use for the rest of their life. The deeper truth. A meltdown is not a parenting failure. It's a nervous system. SOS. When you respond with understanding, instead of fear, you turn the hardest moments into the most powerful connection opportunities. Your child doesn't need a perfect parent. They need a regulated one. Who knows what's happening in their brain? So the next time the storm hits, pause for 2 seconds and picture that hand. Lid flipped? Name it. Connect. Wait for the shift. You've got this. If this model clicked for you, save this video for the next hard moment. And if you haven't watched the earlier ones, Why Kids Don't Listen and Tantrum versus Meltdown, start there. They set up everything we just covered. In the next video, we're taking it one step further. I'll show you exactly how to teach your child these calming tools so they can start using them on their own, age by age. Hit subscribe and the bell so you don't miss it. You're already an incredible parent for learning this. Your child is so lucky to have you. You've done it. You stayed calm. You named the feeling. You co-regulated your child through the storm, and it worked. But then, it happens again, and again, and a small voice in the back of your head wonders, will they ever be able to do this on their own? The answer is yes. But it doesn't happen automatically. Self-regulation is not something children grow into by accident. It is a skill. And like every skill, It has to be taught. In this video, you'll learn why co-regulation is the bridge, not the destination, what the latest neuroscience says, about how independence is wired in, and 5 practical, age-specific tools that move your child from needing you every time to finding their own way back to calm. Let's build that bridge together. The big misunderstanding. Most parents believe one of 2 things. Either, my child should already know how to calm down by now, or I'll always have to be there to help them. Both are wrong. Self-regulation doesn't come with age alone. It comes from repeated, guided experience. Inside a safe relationship. Think of it like learning to ride a bike. First, you hold the back of the seat. Then you run alongside. Then you let go, but only after enough practice. Co-regulation is the hand on the seat. Your job is to hold it long enough that one day they don't need it anymore. Pattern interrupt. Here's what most parents miss. Every time you co-regulate your child, you are not creating dependency. You are building the exact neural wiring they will one day use on their own. The science is clear on this. A 2023 study by Bornstein and Esposito, published in Developmental Psychology, found that consistent co-regulation in early childhood was the single strongest predictor of independent emotional regulation by school age. You are not doing it for them. You are wiring it into them. The basic principle. The brain learns self-regulation by borrowing regulation first. Your calm nervous system becomes the template. Over hundreds of small moments, that template gets internalized. The child no longer needs you to bring the calm, because now the calm lives inside them. But you have to scaffold the process. Here are the 5 steps, one for each stage of early childhood. Step 1. Model out loud for ages 18 months to 3 years. At this age, children cannot regulate themselves. Full stop. Their prefrontal cortex is barely online, but they are watching everything you do, constantly. So your job is to narrate your own regulation out loud. Mama's feeling frustrated right now. I'm going to take a slow breath. Breathe slowly. There. That helped. I feel worried about being late. I'm going to squeeze my hands and let it go. You are not performing for them. You are showing them what a regulated nervous system does, and their mirror neurons are recording every second of it. Research by Meltdown and colleagues at the University of Washington shows that imitation-based learning is the primary cognitive tool of children under 3. They learn to regulate by watching you regulate. So model it, name it, and do it often. Step 2. Hand over the pause button for ages 2.5 to 4 years. Around age 2.5 to 3, the upstairs brain starts to come online. Just enough for you to introduce a simple tool. Teach one pause phrase. Just one. Let's take a dragon breath. Can you squeeze your body tight and let go? Show me your turtle. Pull in and hide. Practice it when they are calm, not in the middle of the storm. Make it a game. Make it silly. The more they rehearse it in the green zone, the more likely it will activate when the red zone hits. A 2021 review in Child Development Perspectives found that children who practiced regulation techniques during calm states were significantly more likely to access them during distress. Calm practice. Real results. Step 3. Create a calm-down kit for ages 3 to 5 years. Between ages 3 and 5, children can begin to use objects and environments as external regulators. Build a calm-down kit together. Let them choose what goes in it. Ideas. A soft toy or weighted stuffed animal. A glitter jar to shake and watch settle. Play-Doh for squeezing. A card with their personal breathing move on it. Put it somewhere accessible, not locked away as a reward. The kit is a tool, not a treat. When a storm starts brewing, instead of jumping straight in, to regulate them, try, do you want to grab your calm kit? You stay close. You stay warm. But you're handing the wheel over, just slightly. Step 4. I notice. Statements. For ages 4 to 6 years. Around age 4, something remarkable starts to happen. The child begins to notice their own emotional states. Before full eruption. Your job now is to help them name that internal signal before it becomes a meltdown. I notice your body looks tight. What's happening inside? I notice you've gone quiet. Do you need a break? I notice your voice is getting loud. What does your body need right now? This is called interoceptive awareness, the ability to read your own body's signals. Dr. Stephen Porges' polyvagal theory explains that the more a child can detect their own nervous system cues, the faster they can self-correct before the lid fully flips. You are teaching them to be their own early warning system. Step 5. Recovery time, for all ages. This one is often skipped, and it's one of the most important. After every storm, big or small, build in recovery time before moving on. Not a lecture, not a consequence, just connection and quiet. That was a big feeling. Your body worked really hard. Let's just be together for a minute. This matters because the nervous system doesn't reset instantly. Cortisol, the stress hormone, lingers in the bloodstream for 20 to 30 minutes after a meltdown. If you rush to the next thing too fast, you're loading an already depleted system. And the next explosion comes faster. Recovery time isn't wasted time. It's brain restoration time. Mini case example. Your 5-year-old melts down every afternoon after preschool. The old way. You just got home. Why are you already crying? Go to your room and calm down. The new way. You meet them at the door. Big day. I can see it in your body. You sit on the floor together. No questions, no debrief. Just quiet and connection for 5 minutes. Then, do you want to grab your calm kit? Or do you want a snack first? You've just handed them a choice, which means the upstairs brain is already being invited back online. Same child, same hard day. Completely different outcome. Common mistake. The most common mistake I see? Trying to teach the tool during the storm. Use your dragon breath. Teeth. When the lid is already flipped, does nothing. The upstairs brain is offline. It cannot receive instructions. Better practice the tools in calm, playful moments. Use them yourself out loud, in front of your child. Then trust that the wiring is happening, even when you can't see it yet. The long-term impact. Every time you scaffold your child through a big feeling, even imperfectly, you are strengthening the connection between their emotional brain and their thinking brain. Over time, that connection becomes automatic. A 2022 meta-analysis in Psychological Bulletin reviewed 75 studies on childhood emotional scaffolding and found that early co-regulation was one of the strongest predictors of emotional resilience in adolescence, academic performance, and healthy relationships in adulthood. You're not just getting through today, you're building the emotional architecture they will live inside for the rest of their life. The deeper truth. The goal of parenting is not to always be needed. It is to be needed enough, at the right moments, for long enough, that one day, they carry your calm inside them wherever they go. That is the gift co-regulation gives. Not dependence. Independence, built from the inside out. So this week, pick one tool from today. Just one. Match it to your child's age. And practice it when they're calm and happy. The brain is always listening, always learning, always growing, especially when the parent in front of it knows what they're doing. In the next video, our final one in this series, we're zooming out. I'll show you 5 simple daily habits that keep your child's brain regulated all day long, so you need fewer co-regulation moments in the first place. Prevention instead of reaction. It changes everything. You're a parent who learns. Your child is so lucky to have you. Imagine walking through your front door after a long day. The house is calm. Your child looks up and smiles. No explosion. No meltdown at the dinner table. No bedtime battle. That's not a fantasy. That's what a full brain looks like. You've spent this entire series learning what's happening inside your child's brain and how to respond when the storm hits. Today we flip the script entirely. Because the most powerful parenting move isn't what you do after the meltdown. It's what you do every single day to make the meltdown far less likely. I'm giving you 5 daily brain-filling habits, backed by top neuroscience and pediatric research, that keep your child's nervous system in the green zone from morning to night. Each one takes almost no extra time, but together, they change the entire emotional climate of your home. Let's fill that brain tank. The big misunderstanding. Most parents think meltdowns are random. That came out of nowhere. I don't know what triggered it. It's just a phase. But neuroscience tells a different story. The vast majority of meltdowns are predictable. They happen when the brain's tank runs empty. Too little sleep, too little movement, too little connection, too many surprises in a row. The explosion feels sudden, but the depletion started hours earlier. Dr. Stuart Shanker, author of Self-Reg, describes this as the stress load model. Children have a threshold for how much stress their nervous system can hold. The wrong color cup at 5 p.m. didn't cause the meltdown. It was just the last straw on an already overloaded system. Fill the tank daily, and the threshold rises dramatically. Pattern interrupt. Prevention isn't about perfect routines or Pinterest-worthy schedules. It's about 5 science-backed habits that protect your child's nervous system before the day even gets hard. Small inputs, massive results. The basic principle. A regulated brain is a full brain. Give it what it needs, consistently, and it stays online longer. It recovers faster. It needs fewer rescues. Here are the 5 habits. In order of the biggest impact first. Habit 1. Serve and return connection. 10 to 15 minutes total, spread throughout the day. This is the highest leverage habit on this list. Research from the Harvard Center on the Developing Child shows that back-and-forth interactions, what they call serve and return, literally build the brain circuits for emotional regulation. Every time your child makes a serve, a look, a sound, a gesture, a question, and you return it with warmth and attention, you are wiring their regulatory system. You don't need 15 uninterrupted minutes. You need 5 short moments of full presence spread through the day, during diaper changes, at the breakfast table, on the drive to preschool. No phones, just you and them. That emotional tank fills fast, when someone they love is truly paying attention. Habit 2. Consistent sleep rhythm. Age-appropriate hours plus a simple bedtime routine. Sleep is not a nice-to-have. It is the foundation everything else sits on. A 2024 study published in PMC by De Cruz and colleagues found that toddlers with consistent sleep schedules showed significantly better emotional self-regulation the following day. Lower reactivity, faster recovery, more flexible behavior. The rule is simple. Same bedtime, same wake time, every day, within 30 minutes. A 10-minute wind-down ritual makes a dramatic difference. Bath, book, lights out. No screens for at least 1 hour before bed. A tired brain is a meltdown brain. Every single time. Habit 3. Daily big movement time. 20 to 30 minutes. Outdoors, if possible. Children's nervous systems are not designed to sit still for hours. Running, jumping, swinging, climbing, rolling. These aren't just fun. They are neurologically necessary. Big movement discharges cortisol and adrenaline, fills the proprioceptive and vestibular sensory tanks, and regulates the nervous system from the bottom up. A 2020 meta-analysis in the British Journal of Sports Medicine found that physical activity in young children was directly linked to reduced emotional reactivity and improved behavioral regulation. On rainy days, dance party in the living room, obstacle course with couch cushions, animal walks down the hallway. The body needs to discharge before the brain can settle. Habit 4. Predictable daily rhythm. Not rigid, just rhythmic. Children's brains love one thing above almost anything else: knowing what comes next. Predictability signals safety. And a nervous system that feels safe doesn't need to go into alarm mode. You don't need a military schedule. You need a rhythm. For toddlers, a simple visual schedule on the fridge. Pictures of wake up, breakfast, play, nap, snack, dinner, bath, bed. For older preschoolers, verbal previews. After lunch, we read 2 books, then rest time. In 10 minutes, we're leaving the park. Transitions. The #1 meltdown trigger for young children. Become smooth instead of battles, when the brain already knows what's coming. Habit 5. One special connection moment. 5 focused minutes, one-on-one, every day. This is the smallest habit on the list, and possibly the most powerful. 5 minutes. Every day. Your child picks the activity. You follow their lead. No correcting. No phones. No agenda. Call it you and me time. Let it be sacred. Attachment researcher John Bowlby showed that children with a felt sense of secure connection have measurably lower baseline cortisol. Translation: when a child feels deeply seen and chosen, even for just 5 minutes, their nervous system runs quieter all day. It's not about the amount of time. It's about the quality of presence. This one ritual tells the nervous system, I am safe. I am seen. I am loved. That's emotional rocket fuel. Mini case example. Your 3-year-old was melting down every single afternoon. Like clockwork. You added just 3 of these habits. Morning serve and return play, 10 minutes. Consistent 7:30 bedtime routine. 25 minutes outside after preschool. Within 2 weeks, the 5 p.m. explosions almost disappeared. Same child, same life, same preschool, just a fuller brain tank, and a nervous system that had what it needed to handle the hard parts of the day. Common mistake. Trying to implement all 5 at once. I know how it goes. You feel motivated. You set up the visual schedule. You plan the outdoor time. And by day 3, life gets in the way. And the whole thing falls apart. Don't do that. Start with 2. Sleep and connection. Those 2 alone will shift things noticeably. Once they feel easy, add movement. Then rhythm. Then your special 5 minutes. Progress, not perfection. Always. The long-term impact. These habits don't just prevent today's meltdown. A 2022 review in Frontiers in Psychology found that children raised in environments with consistent sleep, movement, connection, and rhythm showed significantly stronger executive function by age 7, including better impulse control, higher frustration tolerance, and faster emotional recovery. You are not managing behavior. You are building a brain. A calmer brain. A more resilient brain. a brain that feels safe in the world. The deeper truth. By filling your child's brain tank every day, you're not controlling their behavior. You're protecting their nervous system. You're giving them the greatest possible gift, a body and a brain that feel safe in the world. So tonight, pick one habit, just one. Start there. Tomorrow, add another. You've done the hardest part. You've learned the science. You've watched the whole series. You've already changed the way you see your child's brain. That is not a small thing. That is everything. Thank you for trusting me with your family through this entire series. If even one moment of your parenting became calmer or clearer because of these videos, please share the playlist with another parent who needs it. We're raising the next generation with understanding instead of fear, and that changes everything. Your child is so incredibly lucky to have you.